Okay, so I want to talk about something because this is something that bothers me, and so seeing this just really does not sit right with me. It's about the Stauffer family, the Stauffer life, Jim and Myka, with their kids. Well, if you keep up with what's going on in the YouTube community, you would know they adopted a son from China in 2017 when he was 2 years old. Now he's four, and they have decided to rehome him because they didn't know how severe he really was, how severe his autism was. They didn't know what they were taking on, even though 10 months prior to getting him, to adopting him, Myka talked about how the doctor was saying how severe it is, how this is a lot more than her and her husband can handle, warning her she shouldn't do this. And Myka even said it went in one ear and out the other. So don't use the excuse you didn't know what you were getting into, because you did. Also, you kept him for 2 years. Now, I've heard, because I'm watching Spill Sesh's video, and she watched them, and she said he made a lot of progress. Now, this is a kid who has attachment issues, very severe. So, to have him for 2 years, he's made a lot of progress. He's made a bond with the husband, with the wife, with the family, and then to decide, oh, we have to rehome him. We didn't know what we were getting into, all this stuff. It's just like so sad and heartbreaking and honestly disgusting because, like, I get it. Like, some people might have to do this. Like, I'm not trying to bash on people that do this, but they didn't need to do this. Why keep him for 2 years and then suddenly decide he's too much to handle? We can't handle him. We have to rehome him. And they did it very sneaky, like they weren't posting about him. They kind of just like erased him completely, like he never existed. And then they made an update saying, we had to rehome him, we couldn't handle everything. And she even said in that video 10 months prior, that I was talking about, that this is her son. No matter what, this is her son, this is her baby. She would never, ever give up her son. This is her son. He's going to forever be her son. Well, 2 years later, her and her husband have rehomed him because he's too much to handle, apparently. Well, in my personal opinion, first off, I think they really used this kid, unfortunately, for views because they got a lot of new subscribers when they started this journey. And two, unfortunately, if this was their biological kid, they would never even think of this option of giving their kid up. But since he is adopted, it's a lot easier, I'm sure, for them. I'm not trying to speak for them, but in my opinion, I feel like it's a lot easier for them to give up someone adopted. Even though they've had him for 2 years, they've made progress, they've had a bond, and yet somehow now all of a sudden his behavior has just gotten so much worse. They didn't know what he was getting into, and it's just very fishy, and it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't add up, and it's just disgusting to see that they had this kid for 2 years who has a severe attachment disorder, and he finally was making that progress he needed, and they decided to rehome him. Like, they should know this is not going to be good for him or the progress he's made. Not to mention, they had another kid on top of already dealing with his issues. I don't know, they had a new kid, maybe they were like, alright, you know what, we just have too much going on, we have to find a new home for our adopted son. We just can't handle all these kids, because I honestly don't believe his behavior was getting too much, or they couldn't handle it anymore, or they didn't realize how severe it was, because first off, the doctor told you, you admitted it. Second off, you said it went in one ear and out the other. And third, you kept him for 2 years. Don't you think in those 2 years of trying to make that progress and help him, he would have been at the worst? But apparently he's at the worst now. It took them 2 years to finally say, we can't handle this, his behavior's gotten too bad, we didn't realize how bad his autism was. It took you 2 years to realize that? 2 years. Like, it's just so disgusting to me that they did this in such a sneaky way too. Not saying they have to publicize it for us all, but because, like, there is a lot of vlogs of him in it and a lot of videos, talking about their adoption journey, and that's what had a lot of people come over and subscribe to their channel because they really like seeing this, and they like this family and seeing this family help this child with special needs, and they wanted a child with special needs. And even though this child had extreme special needs, they still decided to take him on and kept him for 2 years and then decided to rehome him. And I just think the reasons they're saying why they had to rehome him is just utter bullshit. And at the end of the day, I don't think they had to rehome him because of his behavior. I think they just chose to rehome him and not keep him anymore, which is just so disgusting to me and sad. I mean, I can't speak for them. This is my personal opinion, so don't come for me. But it's just really. So them saying him going to a new home is the best decision for him is, in my opinion, not true. I think it's what's best for you too, not him, because, I mean, knowing how severe his autism is, knowing how bad his attachments issues are, and how far he's come, saying that rehoming him is the best decision for him is just not true, because you have to imagine this kid who deals with such severe issues is now going through a whole new environment when he already has attachment issues very badly. And it's just like they're not really thinking of him, they're more so thinking of themselves. And apparently his new mom has medical training, so that's supposed to make us feel better, which is good, it is. But don't try to justify why you they are lucky enough to have money and to be able to provide a great life for their kids and themselves and for the child they adopted. And they could have easily, like, they were getting him the help they needed. They could have continued getting the help he needed. They have the money, they could have easily continued on this journey, but clearly they just didn't want to deal with it anymore, or clearly they had this new baby and they decided, we just don't want to deal with this and deal with what we have to do for the kid, so let's rehome him all sneaky like. And it's just like I said, these are my opinions, and it's just like so disgusting to me. It really is. Like, they literally just gave him away like an animal. And it's like, you can't adopt a kid and then just decide, I don't want the kid anymore. I'm gonna shop him around other people. This is a human being. Like, if you guys know what I am talking about, or just in general, adoption and rehoming, what are your opinions on it? How do you feel about this situation? Do you, what do you think about what they're saying? Do you think that he did become too much and they did have to rehome him? Like, what are your thoughts if you have any? Because I'm curious to know. Because even though I don't know much about him or anything, I do have my own opinions, and I am watching a video about them, and so it's showing a lot of involving this, so I'm getting a lot of information, and I just want to talk about it because, like I said, this is something that really bothers me, and I just don't understand how you kept him for 2 years, and then suddenly he became too much to handle. It just doesn't add up, and then using the excuse she didn't realize how severe his autism was is also a lie, so that doesn't look good either, and it's so that's all I want to say on the situation. I mean, like I said, these are just my opinions. These are just my views on the situation. So everyone has their own opinions. Everyone has their own takes on the situation. This is just mine. I want to voice my opinions, my views, and that's what I'm doing. You don't have to agree. But at the end of the day, it's just a really sad situation, and I feel for this kid and what he must be going through right now. And honestly, I'm just really happy I don't watch this family, to be completely honest, and it sucks that well, it didn't have to happen, it happened. It just sucks that this happened.